Okay, I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakat, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teacheth the Bible in 100% truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes of Israel, especially the 144,000 consisting of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in the land of the Americas, as well as the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners living amongst the other nations. Shalom to you. Okay, today you might hear it in my voice, sound a little bit bunged up. I've just been getting over a cold, so it's that time of year, and I just came across this. I've been struggling to put my lessons together, my videos together for the last few weeks, because I just started a new job, and I went through this particular process. Obviously, last year, if you've been listening to the videos, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And then I'm now at a point where the Most High has obviously kind of taken those issues and problems away, which has resulted in me going into a new job role, which I knew this was going to happen at some point. I knew the Most High would change the scenario. However, I didn't know what was going to happen or what was going to take place. But now I'm working at an airport. So, and I just started on January the 22nd, which is basically a year to the day since I got suspended at the last job, and I went through that particular situation. And it's the day after this man on the screen, Donald Trump, aka the reincarnation of Caesar Nero. It's the same day that he started, or the day after he started office in his second term as President of America. And so what it is, when I look at certain things that happen to me in certain situations in the timeline, it makes sense, and then it helps me to work out the time scale, especially when it comes to prophecy and certain things. So certain things happen to me, and I know certain things will take place, and I wait for it, and then other things happen in line with it, and it kind of shows me the direction that we're going in. But yeah, I started this new job at the airport, and basically it's the problem I got. It's basically like a, how do you say it, fabrication engineer at the airport, but it's the building fabrication, so it's nothing to do with the aircraft or anything like that. And it is supposed to be a night role. However, they've got me starting in the day at the minute, so I'm working. Last couple of weeks, I've started working in the daytime because obviously they have to show me where things are. This is quite a big building. There's a lot of places to go. You need to know. Obviously, dealing with maintenance of the actual building itself is pretty much what it is. Then you got to know every part, every place, every little store cupboard, every storeroom. There's locks. There's things that need fixing, doors, floor tiles, all sorts. So they got me working in the day at the minute, and then it's taking me out of my normal routine because I normally work nights, and I should be working nights on this job role, but the where they're showing me around, they've got me working on the days, and so then it's kind of messing up my routine because when I have my evening, I come home from work, my family's there, and obviously then that doesn't leave me any time to be able to think or meditate. Apostle Paul said that if those who had wives, it's better that it's better to be like you had none, because obviously the time is short. You have to take on board this truth, the understanding, and the quicker you come to that realization, then you realize where we are according to the timeline of prophecy, and especially in the time now, 2025. That statement, Um, it applies more, makes sense, it has more effect in this year that we're living in now, 2025, than it ever has done before. You know, those that have wives, be as though you had none, and just obviously concentrate on the truth, the understanding. I mean, your wife's there. You know, you got to deal with them, this, that, and the other. But you see, why the reason why I like working nights is because what happens is if you're waking up 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then your day lasts until 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., 4 a.m. Sorry, you wake up at 2 p.m. and your day lasts till 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and you're on like a night shift. The beauty of doing that is while you live your day, halfway through the day at midnight, 11, 12, everybody goes to sleep. So you then live that routine where every day, halfway through your day, people go to sleep. And that's great because then you got like time to think, time to work stuff out. But at the minute where I'm doing these days, I'm lost. I'm like getting up in the morning, I'm at work all day. They're just showing me stuff. I'm just sort of trying to take it all in. Then you come home and the wife's just banging on about this, that, and the other. You got the little one, and then you got tired because you fall asleep because you got to get back up for the next one. So it's just this crazy cycle of events. Working 12 hours a day is one thing, but doing it in the day is difficult. Doing it at night isn't so bad, but it'll be a little few more weeks, and then they'll put me onto the night. But what it is, they got to show me a lot because when they put me on the night, then they're gonna put a new person with me. So by then, I kind of got to know quite a lot. And then it's kind of me and this other dude. We work together on our shifts. Anyway, but that's at the airport, and it's kind of funny again because obviously I didn't know, beginning of November, I didn't know I was going to be here. Now I'm here, and then lo and behold, Donald Trump's talking about the situation. You've had all these situations with the aircrafts. I'll say it like that. All types of incidents. Planes are falling out of the skies. Planes are falling apart, and it looks like that there's some sort of an agenda. I mean, we know there's an agenda overall when it comes to the MOTB. That's what we're watching out for. It's 2025. That's pretty much the next big thing that's going to happen. And we know that Donald Trump is that president that's going to bring it in. I mean, when I said Donald Trump is the last president of America, you have when I say that, I mean obviously by the voting system. That could be through. I mean that through the voting system, you're not going to have another system, a process where the American people vote again for a new president in 4 years' time or in 8 years' time. But so saying he's the last president, this is the last presidential term that you're going to witness. But there is the possibility of him being assassinated, and then obviously you could have his vice president take over, or whatever else for the factor of continuity of government. And don't forget, we've seen several attempts. There's more attempts on this guy's life in the last 6 months than I've had hot dinners. You can't even remember how many. The most notable one was probably the first one at the campaign rally. The guy on the roof. And even with that, we've spoken about it. It could be that the elites are giving him a message. Sending him a message saying, "Listen, if you're gonna take on board this job role as president of America, you got to understand that we've got an agenda, and this time we're gonna go through with it, and we don't want no back chat." He's got into office. All of a sudden, he's writing these executive orders. He's changed his mind on a lot of the things that he said in the past. But that's just obviously one idea. I mean, the reason why I was mentioning, like I haven't been able to, I haven't had the time really with the making the videos in the last few weeks. So what it is, I haven't prepared anything. So I'm kind of just going off the top of my head. But I came across this particular video here. This is GMS All Precepts 144. This is 5 hours ago. And If this is uploaded, keep an eye on this. Why would he say that? And so when you play this particular clip, it says Trump says he's given advisors instructions for Iran to be obliterated if it assassinates, if it, as in Iran, assassinates him, as in Trump. So, the beginning, hang on, where is it? There's, I think whoever uploaded the video, uses the, no, it's not there. He uses the thumbnail from the picture from The Simpsons, and you've obviously got Donald Trump lying in a coffin after an assassination. I don't really know the clip that well, but and then obviously, like as you can see here, this is what the brothers put as the title. Keep an eye on this. Why would he say that? So he's being interviewed, and basically he's talking about the fact that he goes to say that he would like peace in the world. It would be a nice thing if you could have peace in the world. That's what everybody says. However, if Iran, because he was questioned on previous assassinations, he was questioned on the fact that Iran came out and previously said we want to assassinate Trump for taking out one of their generals. In his last presidency between 2016 and 2020, he took out is it Soleimani or something like that? Soleimani or some general of a similar name. And so obviously that's the Iranian people that came out and said, look, we want to assassinate Trump for that. Obviously 4 years has gone on by. Biden has pretty much wrecked everything, wrecked the state of America. And now here you go, Donald Trump has come back to fix everything. And so they're asking him, they're going, well, Iran have obviously previously said that they'd like to assassinate you. And he basically said that if Iran attempt to assassinate him, then there is instructions for his advisors to basically go all out, obliterate Iran. And so this is another one. This man's been back in power for about 2 weeks, if that, and he's pretty much every day he's got something to say. Every day is a headline. Sometimes he's got 2 headlines a day, and so this is the latest one. And so this is kind of got me thinking, like I said in the previous video, he's, definitely 100% the last president of America. And when I say that, according to, having a vote, that whole process of going through a voting system, that's not going to happen again in America. When I go back to the vision that I had in 2018, and this man was in power at the time, and like I said before, when I had the vision finished, and I knew 2024 was big, and I knew that this man had a big part to play. So obviously, in 2018, you think, well, he finishes off another 2 years, 2019, 2020. Then you think, okay, 2020 he's going to win another term, and he's going to take us through to 2024, and it didn't happen. And obviously, I was a bit confused. But here we are, 7 years later, and it all makes perfect sense. So he's back for the second time around, and he's got a big part to play. So he's definitely the last president of America, because that election that took place last year, that's not going to take place again. However, now you've got this. We understand that the elites, they talk to the masses through the media. They let them know what their agenda is. They do it on the sly. They do it with guile. They do it with subliminal messages, so on and so forth. And this very well could be one of them. And we've seen a hell of a lot of things going on in the last 6 months. Since January the 1st, things have increased. In the last week, we've seen multiple accidents with planes. And so there's some sort of agenda on its way. We're seeing talk of pestilence and disease out there. Certain this and certain that. There's talk of this and talk of that. I mean, we know that when it comes to like doing the thing what they did 4 years ago in 2020, that whole thing about people coughing, sneezing, and then you catching something, it was a myth. We know that something was out there, but at the same time, a lot of it was a myth. So this time, the second time round, it's a myth. We read it in the articles. Oh, there's this happening over there. There's that happening in China. There's this happening there. Oh, will it spread? We don't know. It's all a myth, and all they're going to do with this story is just it's just a fictional story. So at some point they'll just take it into the angle, into the directions they want. They'll say it's spread here, it's spread there. We got to react. We got to do this. We got to do that. Talking about the aircrafts, and these are worldwide things. This is last time they had the big issue with with the aircrafts. Obviously, because you had people traveling from place to place, spreading the thing in 2020. So we could be heading to something major very soon. You've got obviously the WEF. They've announced, they came out and said before that the 2025 we're going to see a lot of shock events, and it's only been 1 month, and you've already seen quite a few major shock events. Just Donald Trump signing some of these executive orders, some of the things he said, some of the crashes and things that are going on. We understand in the background that they're psyops, that they're false flags, that certain situations are being man-made rather than natural random occurrences. And it's the time to stay tuned to prophecy. This is 1 Corinthians 4:9. It says, "For I think that the Most High have sent forth us, the apostles last." It says, "As it were appointed to death." It says, "For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to the angels, and to men." And so that spectacle, was made once before. 2,000 years ago, you had the apostles, you had the prophets, so on and so forth. And Apostle Paul's telling you, it says that he thinks that, "For I think that the Most High have sent forth us, the apostles last." And so, as I keep saying, you've got Acts 2.0, everything's repeating again. You've got that generation back again. The disciples that ask you, "How shy? How will we know?" When it's that time, he said, "You'll know, because that Holy Spirit will come upon you, and I'll remind you of those things. You will see this, you will see that, and then you will know that a time like never been seen before is about to hit this planet." And that's what we're on the edge of. We're on the edge of that moment now. So those apostles that came 2,000 years ago, they've already come again, the second time around now. The last apostle at the time would have been Apostle Paul. So you'd expect that this time round, if the prophets have done their job, the apostles have done their job, then we would have got to the point where Apostle Paul would have appeared. Maybe he knows who he is, maybe he don't. But the point is, when he arrives and does what he has to do, then that signifies the time. So really, you could say Apostle Paul's job in the second time around is to signify at the time to the rest of the apostles, to the prophets, that look, when I'm here, so now you know that we're all here. As they say, "For I think that the Most High have sent forth us, the apostles, last, as it were appointed to death, for we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to the angels, and to men." And so, the prophets have been out there on the streets, a spectacle unto the world, through the worldwide internet, and to the angels, because the angels watch and marvel, and unto men, because even these Christians, for example, they go into the scriptures, they try to copy us, they try to copy that format that's taught by, mainly, those of One West, or even of GMS. When you fine tune it, it really boils down to the teachings of GMS, that particular format. You've got people out there in the world today that are copying that particular format. It's because they watch, they see it, they see the understanding, they scratch their heads, they try to find loopholes, They try to make it so that it's not true, but they can't find a way around it because you can't actually break the truth. And so, um, this all becomes a spectacle. And so that spectacle, as I keep saying, is about to turn. The Most High is about to turn this world upside down, and the spectacle is about to fall onto Israelites and the other nations. The time of Jacob's trouble is a time of judgment for Israelites who have not repented and returned back to Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, their true power. But it's also a time for judgment of the other nations around this earth. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9. This is starting at verse 1. He said, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. It says, And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, it says, Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And this is the time we're in. The highest is, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai is visiting this world. Like I keep saying, the apostles got sent forth last. They've done their job, and now, obviously, we've got these signs in the skies. We see the things that are happening around the world, and we understand that this is the beginnings of that great visitation. It says, therefore, it says, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, it says, and the end is manifest. It says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in signs, in effects and signs. It says, everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. And that's what we do. We believe that these troubles that are coming up now, as it says, even so the times, you jump back to verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works. We understand that. We look at the globe, we look at the earth, the nature, the grass, the sun, the ecosystem, the human body, the reproduction system, how we reproduce children, so on and so forth. And these things are plain; they're right in front of you. Yet they're part of the Most High's works. They're plain beginnings. It says in wonder and powerful works. It says and endings in effects and signs. So now we start to see these solar eclipses, these blood moons. You've got the blood moon coming up on the Passover. I was just looking into that. It's a blood moon on the 14th of March 25. Basically, it says, yes, a total lunar eclipse, also known as a blood moon, will occur on the night of March the 13th, 14th, 2025. This will be the first total lunar eclipse since November 22. So there's a blood moon coming on the night of the Passover, which is what happened, obviously, when Yahushua went on the cross. And that's a significant thing. So this is another one. We had the solar eclipse last April the 8th, 2024. You've had other things in between, so on and so forth. We've had lightning strikes a few weeks ago. And this is another major sign. Just goes on to say why it happens. A total lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth is between the sun and the full moon, casting a shadow on the moon. It says the moon passes through the Earth's umbra, which is the dark center of its shadow. The moon can appear red during a total lunar eclipse because of the way the Earth's shadow falls on it, where it will be visible. This eclipse will be visible from parts of Antarctica, Western Africa, Western Europe, the Americas, the Pacific Ocean, Eastern Australia, Northern Japan, and Eastern Russia. So you go to the image, and this pretty much kills it. As you can see here, total lunar eclipse on March the 13th to the 14th, 2025. Where and when to see it, and this is where you're going to see it. Lo and behold, America is pretty much the best place to see it. I mean, as they say, they mentioned in that list, for example, West Africa, Western Europe, you could see it from. But when you look at this particular image, then you realize that really the center point, where it's really concentrated, is Babylon the Great, America. So that's not a good look for America. Not a good look for those that don't call on Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and those of the other nations, in America and around the world, because we're in the time of that visitation. Going back to Second Esdras chapter 9. So even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And what I noticed actually, that blood moon is on the 13th or 14th of March, and then it's a weird one for me because my wife's birthday is on the 14th, and then my birthday's on the 15th. So yeah, I don't know, but I get these weird, strange, like, coincidences. You would call them coincidences, but they're not really coincidences. Like, for example, I explained before, I had a lot of problems last year at work. I got accused of certain things. I got suspended, and that was on the 22nd of January. And then I go back to work this year. I spent 3 months looking for a new job. Did blah blah blah. Money was tight. Prayed to the Most High. He got me a good job role. Better money. Blah blah blah. Closer to my house. So I'm happy. And then, by the time I get in there, get my pass, do this, do that, I don't end up starting until the 22nd of January. So there's all these weird, if you like, things that coincide, coincidences. Like I explained before, January 2025 just gone was 7 years since, and I had the first vision when Yahweh Shai came and showed me a vision, showed me certain things. I saw him and he flew off. And that was 7 years ago. So here we are, 7 years, and we're in the thick of Donald Trump signing executive orders like it's going out of fashion. And we can see that there's some obviously agenda. We know what the ultimate agenda is. It's to bring in the MOTB, but there's going to be all these false flag events, these shock events, as the WEF referred to them as, an era of shock events. So all these events that are shocking, a little bit like 9/11, multiple events, and you add them all up, and it's going to ultimately force the powers that be to create guidelines like they did in 2020, 2021, like they're going to do when they introduce the MOTB. We got the World War III. Don't forget about World War III. That's still on the back burner. And then you've had, the scriptures talk about the least of the flock, drawing them out. So they've obviously started that situation with Netanyahu. I spoke about that in January 23, and October 23. 10 months later, Netanyahu went out there and started doing that little thing. So you've now got Trump coming in to save the day, and he wants to basically deal with it, but deal with Iran, so on and so forth. Iran have got this ongoing beef with him because Trump's supposedly the one who pressed the button to kill their general. So we've got The Simpsons, showing you Donald Trump in a coffin. So what does this all mean? We know there's an agenda, and we know the ultimate goals. We've got World War III, we've got the MOTB, and they want to bring a great reset. But what they're not planning on is a great deliverance of the elect of the children of Israel, only the elect, and a destruction of America, of this empire, and of this society as a whole. It's going to be totally destroyed, put to bed, and there's going to be a new ruling on earth. So, just trying to find back where I was. So it says that everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. So, a lot of things are going to start to go on, and like I say, an era of shock events. And it's going to be hard to, for people who aren't really rooted with faith, it's going to start to sway you, back and forth, because with these shock events, they'll come closer to you, they'll affect you. See, I've just started this job role now in the airport. What happens if they shut down the aviation industry and put everybody on a furlough, send me home, on 50% wages or whatever? You just got to deal with it. Because ultimately, we understand the what's happening in the long term, where the Most High is taking this prophecy, and we have to go through the rough in order to get to the smooth, which is the kingdom. So you got to deal with it. But if you're not rooted in this truth, if you're not rooted in faith, if you're not praying, if you're not believing in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, which, as it says here, whereby ye have believed. So believing is a big thing. When things start to get really bad before you, especially those living in America, Babylon the Great, believing in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you have to believe that obviously you're hopefully of that elect. The Most High has got his eye on you, he's protecting you, and you also have to believe that even though certain situations look like beyond repair, the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai can repair any scenario, situation, any given scenario or situation. So says shall be preserved. It says here, yeah, as I'm saying, shall be preserved from the said perils. It says, and shall see my salvation in my land. It says, and within my borders. It says, for I have sanctified them from the beginning. So you don't have to worry. Like if you're of the elect, you're of the elect. You're going to be sanctified. You're going to be delivered, and it's sanctified. The fact that it's going to happen has been sanctified from the beginning. Says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways. So this is talking to the whole world. Don't forget, when you go back up to the top, it's talking about the whole world. It says, verse 2, then shall thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So every single person outside of the elect is pretty much going to be judged. It says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully, it says, shall dwell in torments. It says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. And so, you got people, for example, they have a problem with Apostle Paul. They say, oh, Apostle Paul tries to take away from the law. Israelites, that's Israelites teaching. They'll tell you that. They'll say Apostle Paul took away from the law because he keeps trying to push faith, and he's wrong for that. Yet it says here, this is Ezra speaking, it says, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty. So the liberty is the grace period. The fact that you just got to have faith in the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and you can be delivered. So Apostle Paul was pretty much repeating what Ezra was repeating here. But then, as it says, they that have loathed my law while they yet had liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them. So we call to these Israelites. We tell them, look, come back to repentance. Call on the Most High. It's not about the law. You're not going to be judged according to it. I know that's a lot to live up to, but it's cool. We have liberty. Just repent. But they understood not, but despised it because they think we're for whatever reason they don't believe on this word. Ultimately, they don't believe on this word because the Most High has blinded them. The Most High has not sanctified them from the beginning. The Most High wants to judge them. And back to verse 2, it says, then shall thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. You don't want to be visited by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai in terms of judgment. It's not actually something that you want, but you're going to get about 8 billion people plus, give or take. I mean, there's about 9 billion people on the planet, and the only people that will be exempt from judgment are the members of the elect, a remnant, a small group, if you like, a particular portion of the nation of Israel. Bearing in mind that biblically you've got 18 nations of people on this planet. A remnant of one of those nations is the only people that are going to escape judgment. So you're back on so that's what this is the time we're in, and the Most High's obviously got Donald Trump, aka Nero, who when Donald Trump was here in a past life with the name Caesar Nero 2,000 years ago, he declared himself as the chief enemy of the Most High. But in this time now that we're living in, 2,000 years later, the same spirit, the same soul is back on this earth in a new version of flesh. Obviously, that when you think about it, that would have come through his father's bloodline all the way from 2,000 years ago to today. And that's why he has the same looks and the same personality, because he's obviously got the same spirit. And he's spoken of this time in Isaiah 19. But this time, obviously, he's referred to as the cruel Lord. This is a message to Egypt, which is referring to Babylon the Great, America. It's Isaiah 19:1. It says, this is the word about Egypt. See, the Lord is seated on a quick-moving cloud. Oh, you know what it is? I had it in BBE. Yeah, so I obviously, we normally read this in the KJV, but I was going to read it in the BBE to make it a bit more simple, but I'll just go to the KJV for a second, because it just sounds familiar. So Isaiah 19:1 in the KJV says, the burden of Egypt says, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, says, and shall come into Egypt. Says, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. Says, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst thereof. So this is talking about the introduction of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. You're going to have Yahweh Shai arriving on a so-called UFO, which is referred to as a swift cloud, aka a chariot of Israel, an angelic vehicle. And it says, and it shall come into Egypt, which is represented in America. It says, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. It says, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So the idols of Egypt, you've got all these people. Basically, you've got the normal people, normal working people in America, but you also have people of high stature, and you have famous people that are looked up to, people with money for whatever reason, whoever, these politicians, so on and so forth. Anything about America that's great, and within America, it's going to affect you as soon as the swift cloud, the chariot of Israel, as soon as Yahweh Shai comes in. Says the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. Says, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Says, and I will set Egyptians against the Egyptians. Says, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. So at the minute, you've got that visitation going on. I mean, you've got the moment when Yahushai directly comes into Babylon the Great, America, at that time of deliverance, just before the destruction. So that's a literally arriving on a swift cloud into America, Babylon the Great. But obviously, before that, Jacob's trouble is a time of visitation. So the Most High puts a spirit within Egypt, within Babylon the Great. And it says, and I will set Egyptians against Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. So this is part of the problems we're seeing in Babylon the Great, America now. The Most High's got a spirit, from the king, Donald Trump, to the banking elites, to the people on the, who are working, the everyday workers. There's a spirit on people within that nation, even around the world, to bring about these final prophecies. Says, I will set Egyptians against Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. It says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. So they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So this is where I wanted to go into the BBE, because when you go, obviously we talk about the left-hand spirits. We have spirit guides, if you like, from the Holy Spirit, which is a spirit on the right-hand side, sent by the Most High. But these rulers, these elites who push forth these agendas, these people who present these prime ministers and presidents to you and put them in place and get them to follow the agendas, they do divination. They receive spiritual understanding on the left hand side from the spiritual demon Satan or other particular spirits, and that's what gives them the ideas to push forth these particular plans. So they're doing that at the minute, and you've got Trump coming in. He's acting like there's no tomorrow. We've got to get these things done. Scriptures tell us that he knows he has but a short time. So at some point, the people pushing the agenda have to realize that it's go time. And we believe that this time is coming up very soon. So even to this point, these wicked rulers will consult their spirits on the left hand side, and they'll say to them, yeah, do this, do that, do that, and it will make them think that they're going to do the right thing to forward this new world order. But ultimately, it's also going to be one step too far. So it's going to make certain things get out of hand, and that's where obviously everything starts to fall apart. But yeah, this is in the BBE. So it says, and I will send Egyptians against the Egyptians, and will be fighting everyone against his brother, everyone against his neighbor, town against town, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt will be troubled in her. It says, and I will make her decisions without effect. So then this is when they try to push forth this new world order, this MOTB. The left-hand spirits guide them to get it to a certain point, but then at some point, the Most High, makes these spirits tell them a lie. It says, and I will make her decisions without effect, and they will be turning to the false gods. It says, and to those that make hollow sounds, and to those who have control of spirits, and to those who are wise in secret arts. And I will give the Egyptians into the hand of a cruel lord, and a hard king will be their ruler, saith the Lord of armies. So, that obviously cruel lord is Donald Trump. He's coming out and he's saying what he's going to do. He's going to fix it. Now he's saying, if Iran assassinate him, just obliterate them. So that's what he is. He's that cruel lord, and a hard king says will be their ruler, says the Lord of armies. So up until now, you've had a lot of unrest in America, talk of civil war for the last year or so. And then it's brought about the introduction of Donald Trump because people think he's going to make America great again. But we know he's going to do that, but he's going to go so far into it that it's going to introduce the MOTB, and it's really going to upset more people than it actually makes happy. So again, it's like biting off more than you can chew. You wanted America great. You wanted Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump's actually going to wreck it by bringing in, introducing to you the New World Order in terms of the MOTB. So that's that cruel Lord. The hard king will be their ruler, says the Lord, the Lord of armies. You're gonna everything's failing. You've got people on a street level, if you like, normal people that are working. They've been suffering from inflation and all the problems of America for the last couple of years, and people's spirits are down. So you got a lot of people out there that will, just general people that call on this, call on that spirit, call for luck, call for help, call for Jesus to help them with this, and these things aren't coming anymore. There's no response. Before, back in the day, you could call on Jesus and Babylon the Great, America, you'd find a job. And ultimately, it was left-hand spirits working together to keep you away from the truth. But that ain't happening anymore. So, that's where obviously that spirit of Egypt is being troubled. It says, and the spirit of Egypt will be troubled in her, and I will make her decisions without effect, and they will be turned into false gods, and to those who make hollow sounds, and to those who have control of spirits. So people will go to soothsayers and so on and so forth. They'll say, give me answers, give me this, give me that. It says, and to those who are wise in secret arts, as in spirit reading. It says, and I will give the Egyptians into the hand of a cruel lord, and a hard king will be their ruler. So I spoke about the people, struggling in their everyday lives, going to those who have control of spirits, to those who are wise in secret arts, saying, give us answers, tell us what to do. But these decisions will be without effect. And then you have this cruel lord, which is Donald Trump, says, I'm going to make America great again. And he steps into the ring, but then he becomes a lot crueler than you realize. And ultimately, he's been controlled by the elites. Now, the elites do their own divination. They speak to left-hand spirits on a higher level, and those left-hand spirits are ultimately going to do the same thing. Lead them up until a point. Do this now, do that, and that will bring about the MOTB. That will get you your new world order. And they'll follow it. But at some point, it'll be more than they can. It becomes more than you bit off more than you can chew. It says, and the waters of the sea will be cut off, and the rivers will become dry and waste, and the rivers will have an evil smell, and the stream of Egypt will become small and dry. It says, all the water plants will come to nothing. The grasslands by the Nile and everything planted by the Nile will become dry or taken away by the wind and will come to an end. So ancient Egypt was, thriving off the river Nile, but obviously modern day Egypt is Babylon the Great, and so that river is ultimately traffic. You go to Ezekiel chapter 17, and Israelites were pretty much carried by that eagle, the nation of Edom, into a land of traffic, which is America. And so where it talks about the river, it says the river will have an evil smell. The stream of Egypt will become small and dry. It says all the water plants will come to nothing. The grasslands of the Nile and everything planted by the Nile will become dry or taken away by the wind and will come to an end. The fishermen will be sad, and all those who put fishing lines into the Nile will be full of grief, and those whose nets are stretched out on the waters will have sorrow in their hearts. It says, and all the workers in linen thread and those who make cotton cloth will be put to shame, and the makers of twisted thread will be crushed, and those who will be sad in heart. So, it goes on to say the chiefs of Zawan are completely foolish. The wisest guides of Pharaoh have become like beasts. How to how do you say to Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise and the offspring of the early kings? So it says, the wisest guides of Pharaoh have become like beasts. So, the Pharaoh is that cruel king of Egypt, of America, of Babylon the Great, which is Donald Trump. And it tells you the wisest guides of Pharaoh have become like beasts. So, you know, ultimately, these Edomites, they're bringing in order out of chaos. The chaos has been building up for a little while. You look around the world, you think, oh wow, the world's pretty crazy. If you took somebody out, from 1,000 years ago, and you put them in today's world, and they'll say, wow, this world's crazy. Yeah, surely the end is about to come, but this is nothing. Obviously, the Most High is going to turn it up. It's going to end up being like a time like never been seen before. The thing with Donald Trump is he's moving quickly. He's that cruel lord. He's moving very quickly. And this is what I keep saying to you. You got to look at the times. You got to look at the signs. You look at things around you, and they let you know where you are. So if, for example, the apostles are here, then where we are according to prophecy. But then when Apostle Paul arrives, you know that all the apostles have it's happened, it's completed. And then you have the next phase. The next phase is the visitation, and we're at the beginning of that. So these people in America, it's about to get real bad. Like I keep saying, you've got that. It's that blood moon, and I've been trying to I don't know, the last couple of weeks I've been thinking there's a lot of stuff going on, and then sometimes it's hard to pinpoint. Like you go, well, which you got about 100 things going on at once, and you look at it and you go, well, what's significant? What out of all of that is the most significant things? You start working it out from there, and then when you start to realize the significant things, a lot of the other smaller signs start to fall in place, and you go, okay, so that's why I keep seeing those things, because I've realized this particular significant thing. The blood moon on the Passover is a significant thing. The fact that you got it shining on here in America, the full concentration of the view, I don't know, viewpoint, or the beam, I don't know how you call it, but it's all on Babylon the Great. You've got another one coming up September the 7th. That's going to be from Russia. So we know, again, see, Russia, a big part to play in the downfall of America. So there's another one coming up in September in Russia. So these are major signs. Something's about to go down. I can't guarantee it's actually going to go down on this particular day, but as you can see around you, things are moving very quickly. There's going to be false flag events. We'll see one false flag event. We may think this is the one, but then there could be another one, and then another one, and then another one. And by June, there could be like 7 false flag events which should happen. You could be like, wow, what's going on here? You don't even know what's next. But it could go that way. It could not. Things could be quiet for the next few months, and then it could all of a sudden erupt. But I mean, the way it's been going, when you go back to 2023, for example, it's on a certain level. There was things happening in 2024, just picked up all through the year, just picked up pace. Bang, January 25, it's just picked up. It's dramatically from like the 25th of December, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31 to the 1st. You could just see the gear shift. You could just see it, first, second, third, fourth. And you go, nah, you know what? We just shifted up a gear. So that's only been a month. It's the 5th. I'm looking at the clock now. It's the 5th of February now. So I don't know how quick this thing's going to happen, how long, but something's going to happen real soon. This is the guy to do it, Donald Trump. I said it in the last video, but you have to give all praises to the Most High for bringing him in. He's showing us where we're at. We're always one step ahead. We see the prophecy, we see it come to pass. So this is exciting. It's good news to us. So we just watch to see. I mean, the prophecy, Yahushua told us to watch as well. So as much as we know what we do know, we also have to watch, and that's what we're doing. So I hope that's edifying. I'm gonna leave it right there. Until next time, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. And until next time, Shalom.